Good morning, everybody, and thanks for joining us. We're excited to be with you today to talk about some great work that we are able to do in partnership with small businesses here in Columbus around our response and recovery fund. I want to first of all thank Council President Hardin, Council Member Emmanuel Remy, Director Mike Stevens, the Department of Development, Corrine Berger, who is the Manager Director and Columbus location leader for Jpmorgan Chase, Rev 1 Ventures, ECDI, Next Street, and Franklin County Community and Economic Development. When the global pandemic of COVID-19 first struck our community, we knew we needed to address the needs of our residents in three ways. The healthcare emergency, the health crisis, focusing on preservation of life, the human service emergency, focusing on basic needs like food and shelter, and the third phase of the crisis is around economic recovery. And as we've said before, there's not a neat and tidy start and stop to these things. They may very well all be happening at the same time. While we're by no means out of the woods as far as infections go, nor have we reached all of our neighbors with their needs, we are starting to put a real and tangible plan together and funds, resources into our economic recovery. In Columbus, 80% of our businesses are small businesses with fewer than 25 employees. In order for our recovery to be successful, we must assure that small businesses recover and thrive in the years ahead. The City of Columbus has received $157 million from the U.S. Treasury as part of the CARES Act. These funds must be used for expenditures directly related to the city's response to COVID-19. We're committing a substantial amount to economic recovery, and today we're announcing the COVID-19 Small Business Response and Recovery Fund. In a moment, Development Director Mike Stevens will lay out the details of the fund, but I want to emphasize a couple of points. First, these funds are for small businesses, those with fewer than 25 employees. Second, the funds will be targeted to those businesses in low and moderate income areas of the city, or what we call our opportunity neighborhoods. The resiliency of small business in these neighborhoods help ensure that the residents in these neighborhoods are able to recover too. Finally, these funds are to help sustain business operations and job retention, because it's not just about the business, it's about the people. In our approach to this work and the announcement of this fund here today continues our efforts to do everything, both the health crisis, the human service crisis, and our economic recovery through the lens of equity. Knowing that this crisis has exposed what we all knew was in place, the disparities that exist in our community and in communities around the country, where we know that there has been a disproportionate negative impact on some of our neighbors with respect to COVID-19, from a health perspective, from a human service, housing, and food insecurity perspective, and certainly with respect to recovery. And so equity is what is guiding all of our work, and especially the announcement of this new fund. We're very fortunate to have two great advocates on Columbus City Council, but someone who has worked very closely with Director Stevens and myself on this fund and this program, our Council President, Shannon Hardin.
Well, thank you, Mayor. Really appreciate the partnership. I certainly want to recognize and appreciate the support and the leadership of our Economic Development Chair, Councilmember Emmanuel Remy, to Ms. Corrine Berger from Jpmorgan Chase. The partnership is really what will make this program special. But certainly a shout out and just appreciation to Mayor, your team. the development staff, Director Quentin Harris, Henry Galat, Hannah Reed, councils Karina Johnson and Zach Davidson, and the many community partners like the Urban League and the Columbus Chamber of Commerce, ECDI, Rev 1, and many others who are a part of this program. So today is an important day for the short-term survival of our local businesses in our city. We know that COVID-19 has hit our small businesses hard, particularly businesses owned by women and people of color. And while federal programs like the Paycheck Protection Program and the Economic Injury Disaster Loans helped some, the rules and the guidelines did not work for many. This is why it is important to have local programs tailored to meet our local needs. And as the mayor said, we're grateful to have received the CARES Act dollars, as we know no other city in Ohio has. But it is important to note that the CARES Act dollars we receive will not fill the hole created by COVID-19, that we will have to continue to work together and understand that there are many needs that we will have to work to meet. But to meet these needs in our community, we need both short-term action and long-term planning. And I'm proud to work with Mayor Ginther as he moves forward, and we work to address this as a community issue. And I'm happy to be here today to help announce the $5.5 million in grants and loans to address the short-term needs. Across the various grants and loans funds, we expect to serve more than 500 small businesses across our city. I want to give a special shout out to my friend Auditor Megan Kilgore. She brought me an idea that we were able to incorporate into this project as part of the Return Safely Grants program. I'm really proud of this program, as we know many small businesses have already begun the process of opening up. That has come with a cost in itself in making sure that their environments are as safe as possible. And we want to be a partner and take away any undue stress and financial stress that opening up in itself may have caused. And so that is a part of this program that Director Stevens will dive into. But with that, I would like to introduce my friend and my colleague and the chair of the Economic Development Committee, Councilmember Emmanuel Remy.
Thank you, Council President Hardin, and good morning. First, I'd like to thank the mayor, Mike Stevens, and his entire team in the Department of Economic Development for working so diligently with our team to get this program accomplished. We have been listening to our small business community throughout this pandemic. We have heard the struggles, the need for resources, and the consistent need for technical assistance as we navigate uncharted waters. In my discussions with business owners throughout the city, whether it is business owners like Cream and Sugar in the Hilltop or Ena's Caribbean Kitchen in Linden, we hear that our small businesses want to do the right thing. But costs, coupled with a reduction in business because of social distancing, etc., compound the problem. Most were unable to participate in the PPP program, and they need help from their local government in order to have an opportunity to succeed. These federal dollars help us do just that. Providing great customer service today also means following recommended safety precautions to protect both your employees and customers alike. It's more complicated. Social distancing must be followed. Businesses have to have their employees wear masks and struggle to have their customers do the same. We have to arm our local business owners with the tools to do just that, especially in our opportunity neighborhoods, where the need is the greatest for both the businesses and the residents of those neighborhoods that frequent them. I believe this package touches all areas of need. It is thoughtful for those that may need to invest in protective equipment and the reconfiguration of their businesses by providing funds to assist them in doing so. It provides loans and grants to our most vulnerable businesses, and it also provides a level of technical assistance that will benefit all throughout the city. The partnerships we have formed will help expedite the funding so we can assist as many of our small businesses as quickly as possible. Council President Hardin just named many of our partners, and we're excited to work very closely with them to make sure these dollars are sent out the door ASAP. Thank you again to our team. We stand ready to help foster our recovery efforts for our great city. Next, I would like to introduce Corrine Berger, Managing Director and Columbus Location Leader Jpmorgan Chase.
I think Councilmember Remy, I think we were going to have Director
sorry.
Stevens go first before
Yes.
Corrine. Is that right, Director? We're going to have you share some details of the plan and then go to Corrine?
Yeah, I'm happy to fill in some of the details around this program. First, I want to just lead by saying that we're able to respond in this time of crisis due to the work of the Columbus Small Business Agenda, which is a strategic initiative launched by the city in 2019 that focused on an equitable approach to supporting small businesses. Like President Hardin, Councilmember Remy, and you, Mayor, recognizing some of our partners, I also want to lead with giving a shout out to those partners. We could not have done this without Rev1 Ventures, Jpmorgan Chase, Next Street, and a coalition of entrepreneurs and small business support organizations across the city. They've worked very hard and collaboratively to get us to this point, and I really appreciate that. We also have partner organizations that are going to provide neighborhood-based resource navigation and referral services to assist small businesses in qualifying and quantifying their needs. The partners in this fund include the Columbus Urban League, Columbus State Small Business Development Center, the Columbus Chamber of Commerce, Ohio Minority Supplier Development Council, R.L. Underwood and Associates, YMT Consultants, and Enterprise Community Development Institute. The three funds that we are going to be deploying, or the three buckets of the fund we will be deploying, include the recovery grants. So businesses operating within low and moderate income areas of the city can apply for up to $10,000 in recovery grants to help sustain their businesses throughout the COVID-19 pandemic. These grants can be used to help small businesses maintain existing business operations and retain jobs. We are using $3.25 million of the fund to go towards these recovery grants. I am going to share my screen that has the map of those LMI neighborhoods that are eligible to receive these grants. And just to put this in perspective, when we talk about low and moderate income neighborhoods, it's based on census tracts where our residents have an annualized income for a family of four is $62,400 or less. The Small Business Return Safely grants, we are funding this at $1 million, and we are going to provide assistance of up to $5,000 with a 1-to-1 match requirement. Return Safely grants are going to be used to assist existing small businesses in securing PPE and making necessary COVID-19 health and safety improvements. This grant is open to all small businesses, 25 employees or less, throughout the city of Columbus. The final funding component is $1 million for our pivot loans. The pivot loans will provide small businesses operating within our LMI areas of the city with access to low interest loans. The goal is to maintain existing business operations while retaining existing jobs, create new jobs, and make capital investments due to unexpected market growth. Applicants are eligible to receive a loan up to $20,000. It's important to note that you can apply for more than one of these if you are eligible and go through that process. We will have an online application that is going to be available starting June 9th. It will be a rolling application. We have set a deadline for July 17th. And then we're also using $250,000 to provide technical assistance with those partner organizations I mentioned earlier. It's been shared previously that Jpmorgan Chase has stepped up and been a significant partner and funder of this effort. I would like now to introduce Corrine Berger from Jpmorgan Chase and thank her for her assistance.
Great. Thanks, Mike. Hopefully you can hear me. As Mayor Ginther mentioned, I'm the Columbus location leader for Jpmorgan Chase, and I'm here today representing the nearly 19,000 employees we have across Central Ohio. Jpmorgan Chase has been a proud member of this community for more than 150 years. In that time, we've seen what's possible when businesses, local governments, and the community partners work side by side to create lasting impacts on our communities. That's why we're all here today. We are facing one of the greatest health threats of a generation, one that is impacting communities and citizens around the world. Now more than ever, it's critical that we come together to help those in need. We are focused on supporting vulnerable and underrepresented communities, small businesses, and not-for-profit partners, and are grateful to know we are not alone in these efforts. The City of Columbus Small Business Response and Recovery Fund is vital as our community begins to look for a way forward. Small businesses are the backbone of our local economy and will require access to resources and ongoing support to rebuild and recover in the months and years ahead. There is power in partnership, and the effort underway, thanks to the leadership from the City of Columbus, Franklin County, Rev 1, and ECDI, is a collaborative force in action. Mayor Ginther has again demonstrated truly visionary leadership and encouraged collaboration that will certainly help solve the challenges presented by COVID-19 and beyond. To pave the way for an inclusive recovery that reaches all corners of this city, we will all be asked to think and work together in a more dynamic and innovative way. I know we are not alone in rising to this challenge. As part of this effort today's announcement of support for the City of Columbus and Franklin County is part of Jpmorgan Chase's $250 million global business and philanthropic commitment to help with immediate relief and to support an inclusive recovery focused on vulnerable, hard-hit individuals and small businesses. In closing, I'd like to extend a sincere and humble thank you to the leadership from the Mayor, City Council, the City of Columbus, Franklin County, Rev 1, and ECDI. We will lock arms and lend our support to lift up communities in need. The road ahead will not be without challenges, but as we have done in the past, we will work side by side to ensure Columbus continues to grow and thrive. Thank you, and I'll now turn it back over to Mayor Ginther.
Corrine, thank you so much. I think you're spot on. We cannot realize our prosperity agenda that we have for the region. We cannot realize the dynamic, inclusive growth that we want to see over the next 20 years in this community unless we have a truly inclusive recovery. And so I'm so grateful for your vision, your commitment, the resources, and the Chase family stepping up in such a significant way in this partnership. So grateful to you and to Council President Hardin, Council Member Remy, and Director Stevens for all their work, and the staff at development that have been working so hard on this, all of our partners. I'm excited to get this program up and running and to get a fund out the door to businesses that need them. We will continue to open safely and continue to work hard to slow the spread of COVID-19. It is critical that we do all we can to support our small business community. Now I'd like to open it up to questions. You should have all received instructions via the media alert, but let me go through them quickly. You should see a hand button next to your name. Click on that to raise your hand. We'll unmute you one at a time to answer your questions. Be sure to unclick the hand after we've answered the questions. Obviously, click it again if you have a follow-up or another question. But be happy to take questions from the press at this time. And once we unmute you, if you could just share your name and news organization, that would be great. I guess the one question I'll ask the director is What do you envision as far as the timeline? When can small business owners out there access these funds? How quickly will they be able to leverage them to have an impact? Kind of walk us through what that looks like once the fund's created, the legislation is done, what that ramping up looks like.
Great, happy to do that. On June 1st, City Council will have the legislation in front of them to move these dollars to our grant administrator, Rev 1 Ventures. We appreciate their willingness to do this at no cost to the city. So all $3.25 million of the grants will go out to small businesses, as well as the legislation for ECDI for the loan program that they will be administering for us. We are working right now on setting up an online application. We will have links to that online application on the development homepage, as well as our small business homepages. Once that goes live on June 9th, we will be receiving applications, and we're going to be reviewing them on an ongoing basis. Every couple of days, we've got a diverse group of reviewers that include representatives from the city, local financial institution, Rev 1, that will review that. And once they are reviewed, scored, and approved, the money will be distributed pretty quickly after that. And so we will be doing that, like I said, through July, I believe 17th, or until the funds run out. One thing I think it's important to note that these dollars can be used if you had to buy PPE, personal protective equipment already. We will reimburse that cost. So these are for costs associated once the stay-at-home order went into effect back in March. So we will look back and reimburse costs associated with that as well. I also, Mayor, I'd love to emphasize that we are looking at small neighborhood, community level businesses, barbershops, hair salons, other services that unfortunately had to shut down and lost revenue that they will never be able to make up. So we want to make sure those individuals who have been impacted can benefit from this program.
I guess a follow-up for that, Director, another question is, we know the frustration with the Paycheck Protection Program, the fact that many small companies were shut out, either too far behind, didn't have established banking relationships to access those. The second round PPP, we've been more successful, including some great work by ODI and other partners here in the community. Talk about, and you shared some of this during the presentation, how does this fund help those small companies in neighborhoods that maybe had access to PPP or those that didn't, how this can help supplement and complement maybe existing programs out there?
Yeah, so this is, if you receive PPP, you can still be eligible for this, as well as if you did not. I think what's really critical on the work we're doing here is those partner organizations that these small businesses can reach out to, whether it's in our NCR districts, our neighborhood community revitalization groups, our partners through the Urban League, the Columbus Chamber, the Ohio Minority Supplier Development Council, our own department, our Department of Diversity and Inclusion will help us connect and make sure people have the information that's required. We also want to simplify the application process as much as possible. We know this is about getting funds to these small businesses and, as you said, to the individuals who have been impacted by this.
And I think we do have a question. If you'd introduce yourself and your news organization. Yemi, are you there?
Oh, yes, thank you. I am actually not from a news organization. I am a small business owner.
Okay.
Hello, thank you for
Hi, good morning.
Yeah, thanks for creating this platform. My name is Yemi Ogunbadero. I am a small business owner. We own a venue on No Bixby Road, Phoenix Banquet Center. So I have been watching diligently and waiting patiently to see what resources will be available for small, I guess, micro businesses, because as you all pointed out very eloquently, we've been kind of shut out from all of the EIDL loans, the PPPs, and the uniqueness of my business is, just like Director Stevens pointed out, we've been shut down since March. We are a venue. People are not doing parties. People are not doing weddings. People are not holding fundraisers any longer. And we find that some of our tax liability, I know you guys didn't point on that, but I want to bring that up to you. My business happens to be uniquely lucky that we actually own our building. So property taxes, I'm still getting bills every month.
Mhm.
What do you have in your well of resources that can specifically target this?
Well, thank you for the question. Yemi, I'll give Director Stevens a chance to respond and ask him to follow up with you directly, he and his team, to see how we can best support your company's growth in the future. Director?
Thank you, Mayor, and thank you, Yemi, for reaching out and being part of this. We're hearing from you and others like you who have been impacted by this, and that is why we set up this program. Clearly, you have expenses that continue on, whether or not you have revenue. The property tax are included in that. So as we look at these recovery grants that are available to you, that is a cost we would consider as providing to help you cover those business expenses, as well as other expenses associated with your mortgage or your payroll working forward. So our team, and we've got a great team in our small business group led by Henry Galat. We stand ready to help you. Please feel free to reach out. Go to our columbus.gov, our development page, and our small business contact information is there, and we will work with you on that, and make sure you work with one of our partners to submit that application on June 9th.
Thank you, Yemi, and I don't think we have any other questions from the press. If there are members of the press that are covering this that have additional questions during the course of the day, please feel free to reach out to Robin Davis, who heads up communications for us in the mayor's office, and she'll make sure to get you in contact with either the council members, the director, myself, or Corrine. Thanks, everybody, for joining us. Thanks for all your partnership. Have a great day.